Meeting to order. Welcome, everybody, and it's the Planning Advisory Committee for January 18th, 2022, 7 p.m. And we call the meeting to order. And I'll start with item 2, land acknowledgement. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that we are on the traditional lands of the Acadia First Nation, part of Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral territory of the Mi'kmaq people. Item 3, approval of the agenda. Do we have a mover for the approval of the agenda, or are there any additions that people would like to make? Yes, Councillor Cushing, you're moving. Very good. We've got a mover, and Patty Durkee, Councillor Durkee seconds. All those in favor, signal. Oh, sorry, my apologies.
There's an error, so that I just want to point that out.
Yeah.
Teacher educator, 6 point something. I just had it in front of me. Here we go, where it says Caroline reviewed. We just need a space between Caroline and reviewed.
Oh, we're talking about the minutes. We're talking about the approval.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Where am I? We're talking about I'm looking at minutes and you're approving agenda. So I will approve agenda and then I will point out the error to the minutes after that.
Okay. So we've got more second. All no worries. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, Patty, we are moving on to approval of minutes, December 14th, and just bring up the same
yes, so sorry, my apologies. 6.1, it says Caroline reviewed. There just needs to be a space there, and with that amendment, I will move to approve the minutes with the amendment.
Okay, so we've got a mover and pointing to an amendment as well. We have a seconder for that motion. Patty Simpson seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, everybody. There's item number 5, business arising from the minutes. There is no business arising from the minutes. Item 6, items for discussion or approval. 6.1, ratify the motion from December 15, 2021. And I'm just, yes, Ms. Durkee, Councillor Durkee, you're muted, so just a reminder.
There we go.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
I just want to make a correction in the notes at the beginning. There was an e-vote that was done following the meeting. And it says that with no recommendation from the Planning Advisory Committee, 6 in favor, 1 opposed. There were 7 in favor. I just want to point out that I was not in favor of the e-vote, doing it by e-vote following the meeting, but I did not vote at that time, which according to our policy states that I am in favor of the motion. So we just need to fix that mistake and we're good to go.
Okay, so you're saying that it should my apologies. I just want to make sure I know what you're saying, Councillor Durkee. So you're saying that it should read up top 7 in favor. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, yeah, and that's okay. And just to let everybody know, we will be having a little conversation about how the votes counted in the future. That has been the tradition, though. We've counted it in favor when people have abstained or not voted. So we will be talking about that procedurally, that type of procedure moving forward. So no, thank you very much. Point well taken. And so do we have a mover for to approve the e-voting tracking as amended? Yes, Warner Camo moves. We have a seconder. Councillor Cushing seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. And oops. My apologies. I've just got to get back to the agenda. Okay, item 6.2, rezone application or rezoning application for PID 901-83526 Highway 3 Pleasant Lake. And Ms. Brooks, I'll look to you and Derek to talk about that.
Sure, thank you, Mr. Chair. So I think Derek has prepared the presentation for the PAC this evening.
Yep. All right. Good evening, everyone. I have a short slideshow here. This should be a pretty simple one. Host has disabled participant screen sharing.
Jenny's muted, but I believe she was saying that she's going to get you fixed up.
I fixed
Okay.
that for you, Derek. Sorry.
All right, let me try that again. Perfect. Sorry, one of my permissions seems to be wrong.
No worries, we've got a pretty brief agenda tonight, so.
Oh, I have to quit and reopen. I'll be right back.
Gotta love these Zoom meetings.
Sorry about that, everyone.
That's
Not quite
perfect.
sure what that's about. Something must have updated somewhere.
My Zoom did say it was updating when I loaded it again, so that makes sense.
There we
Okay. Can everybody see that now?
Thank you, Mr. Robertson. Yes, we can.
All right, so as we just said, this is an application for a rezoning in Pleasant Lake. So there is an application to amend the land use bylaw to rezone PID 9018-3526, known as Highway 3 Pleasant Lake, from rural development to rural commercial in order to permit the establishment of a spa business. The applicant is proposing a new building that will contain a washroom, waiting room, and treatment area. To allow the intended spa use, the property will have to be rezoned to rural commercial, which permits any use permitted in the commercial general zone, subject to the same provisions and requirements within the commercial general zone. So the reason we would consider this is the municipal planning strategy anticipates there may be a need for commercial and industrial development within the rural development designation. For this reason, the rural and commercial and rural industrial zones were created. These zoning designations were given to lots that had existing developments of this nature, while all other lots outside of the villages, hamlets, and the Hebron and Lakes districts were zoned as rural development. The intention was that as proposals come forth for new commercial and industrial developments, the existing lots zoned rural development would be considered for commercial and rural industrial uses through rezoning. So this proposal meets all requirements of the rural commercial zone except for lot frontage and minimum lot area. However, as an existing lot, it can still be considered for rezoning. So this shows what the applicant is looking to do with the building highlighted here. The green would be parking and the brown is the driveway, which they've already been approved for commercial access by TIR. Over on the right is the table that shows minimum front, the minimum front, side, rear yards, as well as frontage and parking requirements, all of which it meets except for minimum lot area and lot frontage. The lot area is 0.46 acres, which works out to just over 20,000 square feet, while the rural commercial requires a minimum of 29,000. And it requires a minimum lot frontage of 100 feet, while this property, or of 121 feet, while this property only has 100 feet of lot frontage. However, there is a lot frontage and minimum lot area exception. So land use bylaw 4.9.2 states, notwithstanding anything else in this bylaw, an existing vacant lot having less than the minimum lot area or frontage or both required by this bylaw may be used for a purpose permitted in the zone in which the lot is located, and a building or structure may be erected on the lot provided that all other applicable provisions in this bylaw are satisfied. And this is the really important part for us. The lot may also be rezoned subject to meeting all other applicable provisions of the strategy and bylaw. So this comes from a part within part 12 of the municipal planning strategy. So within part 12, there is a paragraph that states existing undersized vacant or developed lots may not be capable of satisfying the minimum requirements for the lot area and or frontage. Existing developed lots may also not satisfy any one or more minimum yard requirements of the bylaw. Any increase in area and or frontage is an improvement, although the increase may not result in meeting the minimum requirements of the bylaw. Council will establish a general provision in the bylaw applicable to all areas of the municipality to continue to treat these lots as existing undersized lots. Furthermore, council will permit the change of use of existing development on these lots, and most importantly for us tonight, consider the rezoning of any such lots subject to satisfying all other provisions of the strategy and bylaw, excluding lots within the Lake George watershed designation, which this is not. So that brings us to our recommendation. And tonight I would recommend that I would say the proposal meets all requirements of the rural commercial zone except for the lot frontage and minimum lot area. And as an existing lot, it can still be considered for rezoning. The proposal is consistent with the existing uses in the area and seems unlikely to conflict with any of them. For this reason, it is recommended that the PAC recommend council consider amending the land use bylaw to rezone PID 90183526 to rural commercial as outlined in the proposal. And should PAC decide to move forward and make that recommendation, I'll just run through the next steps, which I'm sure we're all familiar with. It's the public participation program. So the municipality of Yarmouth requires the planning advisory committee to oversee a public participation program whenever considering an amendment to any of the planning documents. And this has 5 main requirements, which are a sign on the property, advertising proposed changes, a newspaper ad, a post on the municipality's Facebook page, and a public meeting at the February Planning Advisory Committee, should we move forward on this tonight. And then there's a notification of adjacent property owners with a feedback form, and it needs to be added to the public participation page on the website. And with that, I'm gonna turn it over to you guys for any questions.
Just Derek, before I take questions from the group.
Yep.
From PAC, just a procedural clarification. So the motion that you're recommending is that we recommend to council this, but are we not recommending that we move forward with the public participation program, the other steps prior to?
Yes, sorry, we'd have to do that prior to recommending council consider the amendment.
Okay, so just make note of that. Whoever may bring forward the motion, I'm assuming somebody probably will, but that's yeah. Questions for folks? Yes, Mr. Kamal.
Yeah, it's sort of a general question here. I'm getting a little concerned about the fact that we do a lot of spot rezoning so that it ends up with commercial or industrial areas that are on their own. So I'm just trying to get a feeling on actually where this is located. I know the Pleasant Lake area, but I'm just trying to figure out exactly where this would be. If you can give me a little more detail on that.
Let me see if I have some better context in the report that was distributed.
Well, I read the report and I couldn't see anything really in there, and I didn't have time to search the PID number. So
Yes. Sorry, I did check the PID when this proposal came up, but that was just
If I may,
didn't-
Mr. Chair, may I help there?
Certainly.
So Derek, I'll help you out a little bit perhaps.
yeah, please.
Heading east on Old Highway 3, the location would be on the left-hand side, the north side of the road, approximately 1 kilometer or perhaps 1.5 kilometers before the east end of the Greenville Road. Does that help you? Yeah, okay.
Oh, yes, Councillor Durkee.
Do we know what's across the street from that proposed facility?
I believe it's a residential.
I
It's
can
just
confirm that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a residential. Are there any commercial facilities nearby?
I'll stick with this, I guess. So there's nothing really close there. Probably
No.
nothing within a couple kilometers of there.
Okay, and my last question is, what's the anticipatory traffic? Like, how many people would be using that parking lot or that facility at once? Like, is it a single person who's going to be running? I don't know if it's massage therapy, whatever that goes.
Yeah,
Whatever.
it's-
Could you just explain that, please?
Yeah, it's a single treatment room with a small waiting room. So it would only be one at a time with some overlap between, I would imagine.
Okay, thank you very much.
So, Mr. Devine, when you say the east end of the Greenville Road, the east end would be the end that that crosses across the 101 as opposed to the 103, right?
That's right. It's the end, I guess, closest to Tusket. And the Greenville Road comes right in and joins Old Highway 3 there. Not so
Oh,
much-
I see.
See what I mean?
I see
Yeah.
where it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good. Thank you. Are there additional? Oh, yes, there are additional questions. Councillor Hilton. Sorry.
No worries. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I did find it on Google Maps. It is, it's kind of midway between DK Motors and the Greenville Road. So, you know, there is commercial industry close, but not neighboring the property. I'm with Warner. Like, I actually have no issue with the spa being in this location. I think it's a quiet use, some increased traffic on a very busy road already, with already commercial use up and down the road. My question or my concern is always, once we make it commercial, it's commercial forever. So the quiet use of a spa may become a more industrial, well, not industrial use, but we don't have any control over that. And we've seen that being an issue in other areas. Just wondering, like with our review, is this something we could be looking at, or is this something that we should be looking at, or is this putting our too much control on what our bylaws or land use the rules would be? Maybe.
I mean, my sense at this point, we could, perhaps I can go over to CO Brooks for a very, very brief answer, but I would like to, as chair, keep the conversation about this one property, because that's what's on the agenda, not the entire. Although I know what you're asking about, the overall format moving forward with the land use bylaw and the MPS review. Is that correct, Councillor Hilton?
Yeah, I guess I think I share the same issue that Warner has, is that maybe one use is okay, but further use in a quiet area, like Councillor Durkee said, might not be. So if we're going to approve this one, are we all comfortable with it? I'm comfortable with the spa.
I will say it's because it's a smaller lot and they're still going to be held to those side yard and front yard, all of those requirements that are within the rural commercial. Like, you're never going to get a big building there, a large commercial building, and parking requirements as well. I understand what you're saying. A spa is generally considered compatible with residential, but there are commercial uses that would be less so.
So, Mr. Chair, I'll just very, very quickly try to unpack the conversation a little bit. So in the current municipal planning strategy and land use bylaw, when you read it in its entirety, it does provide for what is common in rural municipalities, and that's that flexibility for the PAC and council to receive applications, but there are guardrails around it. So if you get into the weeds in the land use bylaw, you'll see that there are types of activities that are allowed in these rezonings. So rural commercial or rural industrial, there are acceptable activities. It's not wide open. So there are some guardrails there in the existing. Having said that, the municipality has grown and changed a lot. And when we look at draft documentation with the consultants on the review, if there's an appetite to see if it makes sense to do some pre-zoning, I'll say, of some lands where it might make sense to Councillor Hilton and Mr. Comeau's point, then we can talk to the consultants about that. It's uncommon in a rural municipality to have the entirety of the municipality zoned residential, rural industrial, rural marine, because it removes some flexibility on the part of the PAC and council and for developers. So I think you're quite right. There's a balance there for sure to be had, but definitely I just want to assure everybody that even though this can happen, there are guardrails around it that are baked into the planning documents.
Okay, thank you, CO Brooks. Good question, Councillor Hilton. And we were able to deal with it, I think, pretty effectively. Any additional follow-up, Councillor Hilton?
Oh, I'll make that a motion that we move that forward.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So it's been moved by Councillor Hilton. And do we have a seconder? Councillor Cushing. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. And just bear with me while I go back to my agenda. Okay, there are no other items, and the in-camera, if necessary, 8.1, there is some legal advice in there for solicitor-client privilege for your information only under the MGA Act Section 22, subsection 2G. And again, that was some information that the PAC asked for, and it's there for your perusal. There are no in-camera recommendations, and the date of the next meeting, I'll look to Ms. Porter for the next Tuesday. The date of the next third Tuesday in the month is
February 15th.
February 15th. Goodbye, everybody, for the next piece. Oh, yes, CO Brooks.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I'm putting Kim on the spot, but I wonder if Kim could turn on her camera for a second, if that's okay.
Oh, yes, an introduction would be grand.
If that's okay, Mr. Chair.
Absolutely, please.
She might be camera
I
shy.
think Kim was actually having some issues with her camera.
Question.
Yeah.
Okay, yep. So I'll just let the PAC know that when Jenny switched roles from working for municipal services and began working for me in the CAO's office, we did some recruitment, and Kim Rowley is our new hire. So Kim will actually become the admin support for the Planning Advisory Committee. So tonight she's been observing. She's been supporting municipal councils on different files, including the Mariner Center and Mariner Center expansion. So she's familiar with the process for sure, and setting agendas and all that kind of good stuff. So you may see more of Kim and less of Jenny in February, but I think Jenny will probably be around just as a support in February, and then we'll do a handoff to Kim. So welcome, Kim. I know we can't see you tonight, but we'll see you in February for sure.
Thank you very much, CO Brooks. And her camera, I see there's a message, her camera is not working, but it is good to have her on board. So thank you very much. And so we've got the next date of the next meeting, looking for an adjournment. Mover, Councillor Hilton, seconded by Councillor Camo. Thank you, everybody, for a great meeting, and looking forward to seeing you in February. Stay safe. Thank you. Night.
Have a good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Thank you.